at the power of that computer back then, that's a whole room full. That same power is probably on a smartphone right now. If you sort of think about it, that's how the technology has changed so much over the years. My name is Larry Bailey. I was at UNT from 1977 through 1981, and I graduated with a BS degree in computer science. I spent 4 years in the Air Force, and I probably would have stayed a little longer, but I wanted to get into the computer field. My brother, who's about 4 years older than me, he was currently working for NASA in the computer field, and he just said, hey, you might want to try computer science. I know exactly what that was. And he recommended that I take basic programming course. And I did. I enjoyed it, fell in love with it, and that's how I got started with being in computer science at North Texas. Back in 1977, obviously, computers were sort of new then, and the technology is not as great as it is today. So we were known to generate our programming class. When I took basic, we basically had to use key punching machines. That's where you literally sit there and type in some information. It punches out on a card, and that card is scanned in by the computer, and it basically gives you a readout of your program and stuff. They had a huge lab that all the students had to go to, and primarily it was busy, so most of the time it was at night. And most of us spent the night in the computer lab, getting our programs to work, and so that we'll have them ready for the next day. Learning BASIC and COBOL and stuff, that's where we sort of started out. And obviously, once I got my degree and moving into the field itself, that was my first job as being a computer programmer. Some of the key things that I learned when I first started school at the University of North Texas was you have to get the fundamentals. You have to sort of understand the fundamentals of coding and the logic of coding, and no matter what program after that, whether it's BASIC, whether it's COBOL, whether it's some new one that hadn't been developed yet, if you get that basic stuff, then it'll help you move forward to the new stuff. Those early courses that I took on computer science helped me keep that foundation to help me continue on when things start changing. Obviously there's new techniques, but that underlying foundation, logic, understanding that helped me even when it came to the new things that came out later. I was one of the first African American students that applied and started taking those classes. And the interesting thing about my experience at North Texas is at the time, even though it was a low minority percentage as far as the students on campus, the one thing that I did notice is all the black students sort of helped each other. We were just so proud to be one of the first to be able to say, hey, I got one of the first computer science degrees offered at the University of North Texas.